Arsenal versus Chelsea, and I was saying earlier on, David, that after a bad week to get that win at Wolves, I think would have got everybody feeling a lot more positive because it was a decent performance. I say after a tough week.
It was, and it was a relief as well, because normally when we get knocked out of like Champions League or Europe, we've had a little dip afterwards, and that's what I was worried about before the Wolves game. Okay, the Wolves weren't at full strength, and but it was a good result. It was a decent performance. But tonight is a proper test.
Yeah,
you don't know what sort of Chelsea team's going to turn up, do you?
No. I mean, they've been getting better. They're on a pretty decent run. Jason was saying, was it 4 wins, 4 draws? Yeah. But no Cole Palmer at night, and he has been very key. So it might be up for Raheem Sterling to step up and do something for them tonight.
It's a bit of a result that because he's been playing brilliantly, Cole Palmer. But I think for me it's about how Arsenal play. If they play their top game, they win. Yeah. And that's how we used to look at it. We hardly ever used to do any prep on the opposition when we were with Arsene Wenger. It was all about how we played, and I think that's what it's back to now. Is if Arsenal play their best game, there's a really good chance they'll win it.
That wobble last week in the league and in the Champions League, did you start to think, it is happening again, was just showing the same signs as we did last year, or did it feel different this year?
It did. It felt different going into that, and then obviously the Bayern result at the Emirates was okay. Then the Villa result was poor, and then obviously getting knocked out. But the actual performances, they weren't as bad as what people were saying. No. And obviously people are going to go straight back to last year about how they lost it. And that's in there. That's scar tissue that's got to be dealt with. But this, for some reason, this season I just feel more confident. Even when they went up to the Etihad and they played Man City, I was more confident that they'd get something out of the game then. Whereas last season I was thinking, oh God, this could be like 3 or 4. But this time it's different.
Yeah. You've won. How many titles did you win with Arsenal?
3.
3 titles with Arsenal. So, and what was the tightest one? How does it change in these final few weeks as you're going towards winning it?
The tightest one I would say would be when we went up to Man United and won at Old Trafford. We actually won the league at Old Trafford in 2002. That was really cool. Like to claw back the gap that was there. Yeah. But you just play your game, and at the moment Arsenal are lucky because, it is a bit of luck, I suppose, but everyone's fit. Apart from Timber, and Timber's not far away as well.
No, he scored last night for the reserves, didn't he? He scored a good goal.
Yeah, and he'll be desperate to try and get some sort of, some games because obviously he wants to go to the Euros, doesn't he? Yeah. So that'll be tough for him. But, everyone's fit, so everyone's fighting for their place now. And, that leads to good things. It leads to great competition.
Do you just get a feeling in the dressing room that
sometimes
you're all working as a unit and it's all working out?
But it's all, and I know it sounds weird, it's like it's just take one game at a time, but don't go in here thinking, a draw or whatever. Go and win it. Yeah. Just think about going and win it. If we go and win every game, then the pressure's going to be on Man City. Hopefully they might have a slip up. It's not normally this time of the season that City have a slip up, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean it's so that goal difference could be key, couldn't it? When it comes down to it, that's one situation that Arsenal are in the box seat on. They've got a better goal difference than Liverpool and City.
Yeah, and they've been scoring a lot of goals. They've been conceding less goals. They've got a great clean sheet record as well going. So everything is good. We've got obviously tonight's a real test. Sunday's going to be a massive test at Tottenham. And we've still got to go up to Old Trafford as well, So there's games there that you can't guarantee that it's going to be a win, but we're going for the league. Yeah, this is what it's about. And if you're going to be going for the league, you can go to these teams and beat them.
Yeah, it could be a double league victory for you because Leeds are still in the frame.
I'd like that. Yeah, that would be a good celebration. That would.
Good season. Yeah,
that was a mad game last night.
I know.
Wasn't it?
That was like watching the old Leeds, weren't it, under Bielsa?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, like 1-0 down straight away. I was like, no. And then obviously we got it to 2-1. And then 4-2. I was thinking, we've done it. And then they get another one minutes. Back. And it was, but it was good. And it's weird, isn't it, when you see, like, all right, one of the goals was offside. I think this Nante's goal was offside.
Yeah.
But It's strange how you think, oh, it's offside, and then you're like, no, there's no VAR.
Exactly. You're so conditioned to VAR chalking stuff off.
Yeah, and it's like, look, it's like back to the old days when the strikers would score and straight away they'd look at the linesman, and if he ain't got his flag up, it's party time.
Yeah.
Like now, it's different.
I don't know if you've re-refereed games. You've looked back and said, if VAR had been in, I never would have conceded that. I mean, there must be, you could go back over your whole career and say, if they had VAR then, that never would have happened.
Well, people have questioned my save at Sheffield United. I'm like, no, it was
it
was on the line.
Goal line in tech. That's very true.
That's a shame, yeah. You don't want a buzzy watch there.
Now, Fabio Capello was over at the Laureate Sports Awards, and he was asked about England, and he said, I like England, I like their midfielders and their forwards. He said the problem is defending and the keeper. Centre-back, they're weak, he says.
Yeah.
He said, I also have my doubts about Jordan Pickford. Sometimes he can be good, but for a defence to be good, it needs to have confidence in the keeper. I've watched him in games like Euro 2020 final, and after 20 minutes, he just kept kicking it long. It was as if he didn't want the ball to be near him and just wanted it away as quickly as possible. So having a bit of a pop at Jordan Pickford. And in the last week, you kind of see the best and the worst of him. There was sort of mistake at Chelsea, and then a great save against Forest that kept them in it.
Yeah, but like Fabio's also forgot all the good stuff that Jordan's done. You know, the penalty shootout saves that he makes. You know, like to play in the final and make all those saves in the penalty shootout and be on a losing team is really unlucky. But for England, for me, he's been brilliant. The last game, like you say, where he had a bad clearance, is probably the only mistake that he's made. You know, that was obvious, so obviously down.
Well, the stats back that up. When you actually look at the mistakes that have led to goals, they're very few.
Exactly.
But the perception is that he makes a lot of risks.
Yeah, you know, and I think it's just that it's his way of goalkeeping. You know, he's not like a calm, collected guy, is he? You know, he always looks fidgety and he always looks on the edge, but it works for him. You know, and I say to kids now, you know, like when. Well, kids, you know, I go on YouTube because, you know, you look at my style of goalkeeping, you look at Peter Schmeichel's style of goalkeeping, two totally different ways of being a goalie, but they worked.
Yeah.
You know, and even Jordan's style, it's working.
The position has changed so much in the last 5 years. You know,
Yeah.
In 5 years, would you say? I suppose 5 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, they've got to be ball players now, haven't they? It's just, you see it at kids level, you know, under eights playing out from the back. It's changed so much. You know,
well, I coach at Arsenal every week, and I coach with the under-23s and the under-18s, and I see like all the coaching that goes into, like you say, like playing out from the back.
Yeah.
And you know, I even get people coming up to me and, I've got this goalie, he's great with his feet. I'm like, any good with his hands?
Yeah.
He's a goalie.
The other thing with England is there's no one else really putting their hand up.
No, not yet.
There's no one else going,
Yeah.
all right, well, I'll have the shirt off you.
Nick Pope's injury was a great shame.
Yeah.
He never
Yeah.
got a chance to really stake a claim, did he?
Yeah, and even Aaron, you know, the situation that's happened at
Yes.
Arsenal, you know, that's halted him a little
isn't
bit.
it?
You know, but it's, you know, like going into the Euros this summer, you know, Jordan's going to be there, you know, and when you look at like the 2 and the 3, you know, like there's a lot of goalkeepers that aren't playing.
Yeah.
You know, Aaron's not playing. Obviously, Sam Johnson's got injured.
Yeah.
Dean Henderson, you know, he's now playing at Palace, and you know, he made a right Rick at the weekend as well. You know, so you know, there's a few there. Jack Butland's playing up in Scotland, you know, and then you know, you got Trafford at Burnley, you know, but he's not playing either.
No.
You know, so it's like where do you go? But you know, for me, you know, Aaron's
the
number 2. No chance, mate. No chance. My days are over. My gloves they're not hung up. They're nailed.
Get the DP out, David. Get that refresher's shirt back on.
Deep heat, I think it is these days. You see Aaron Ramsdale around the training ground then. It must be really tough for him. I mean, can you imagine him maybe looking to move on in the summer, or you see him around, you think he seems happy?
I don't want him to go because he's a good goalkeeper, you know, and I've said it before, he's too good to be a number 2. You know, there's no doubt about that, and I'm sure that there'll be a lot of clubs looking at the situation in the summer. You know, obviously David Raya's the number 1, and he's settled into that being Arsenal's number 1 now. You know, when he first went in there, he found it difficult. You know, I don't know whether it was because he was taking over from Aaron, that was like a fan's favourite. And the fact that it's Arsenal, you know, there's more pressure. You know, and he had a little, you know, it took him a while to get settled in. But now you're seeing him, you know, playing out from the back, which is brilliant at, you know, and his taking crosses is really good. But at the moment, they've got 2 really good goalkeepers. But Aaron's not playing a lot, and he's not pushing now for the England number one spot because you can't if you're not playing. So he needs to be playing. And as much as I don't want him to go, it wouldn't surprise me if he does.
And finally, maybe next year, if they're going back into the market, Arsenal, they could be looking for a striker. You sense that's maybe the missing piece.
I think so. When you look at it, and even when you look at the City programme, how they played without a striker and still won the league, but then they brought Haaland in, and everybody said, he won't fit in. How many goals did he score last season? Yeah. So maybe that might be an option for Mikel, to have a big guy as a striker, just for different options during games, different scenarios.
You got your eye on someone? How do you think Ivan Toney would fit in there?
Yeah, well, I was surprised, that never happened in the winter transfer break.
Yeah.
And I think he would fit, because he's got everything. He's got everything that I would look at and think, that he would fit in with an Arsenal player.
Isak would, but it'd be quite pricey. It's whether they want to go out and spend another 100 million quid in the summer like they did last year.
Yeah, exactly. But
Isak's a good call.
Yeah, but if you're going to be successful, you've got to be up there with the big boys. You've got to spend the money. You've got to get the right players in. It's about recruitment and getting the right people for the team.
Yeah. So just a reminder, Football Shirt Friday, footballshirtfriday.org will get you right through. All the information is there, how you can work it all into your socials, how you can make a donation. And it's a lot of fun. As I said, we'll be doing it here at talkSPORT on the day. And do you know what you're going to? Which shirt are you going to wear? You're going for the yellow one.
Well, yeah, I think I'd like to go for the yellow one.
Happier memories.
Everyone wants the red one. Everyone wants the red one.
No, they don't. You want the red one.
Okay, I want the red one.
You're not having it. Put it back in my bag.
I'll Kai Havertz would like to see the red one down at the training ground. Good to see you, David. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah, go and check it out. Footballshirtfriday.org, cancerresearch.org as well. It gives you all the information you need. And so we'll be doing our thing here on Friday at talkSPORT.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.